Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Money Matters Top Tips for Success, where each and every day I bring on new business owners, entrepreneurs, and executives and have them share their top tips for success with you. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at AskAdamTorres. Keep up with my book releases, book tour schedule, signing, all that other good stuff. Always love to connect with you there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become a co-author of one of my upcoming books, just head on over to the website, moneymatterstoptips.com, and click on Become an Author to apply. All right, so today I have George Kriza on the line, and he's Managing Director over at Challenging Decisions. George, welcome to the show.
Good afternoon, Adam. How are you today?
All is well, and I am excited to get into what you're doing over at Challenging Decisions and how you're helping your clients. But before we do that, let's get a little bit further into your background. So how'd you get started in your career in business?
Well, I've been doing a little bit of thing. I started way back in my early years working in camera stores. I graduated to work with Sony Corporation of America during the Betamax and Trinitron era. Moved on to represent Apple Computer and had the interesting privilege not only of working with them but of working personally with Steve Jobs. And so after that, we founded a company called MTC Performance, which is a sales incentive organization that's a national organization designed to help channel marketers develop effective incentive programs.
Wow. So, I mean, obviously a full career. You have, and like we all do, I mean, we learn from the benefit of hindsight and from the ups, the downs, the sideways, everything in between. That being said, you know, there's some other entrepreneurs out there that are maybe they're just getting started and they're just, you know, getting going in business. What kind of advice would you give to that real newbie that's out there just getting started? Obviously, you know, with you having the benefit of hindsight now.
That's a great question. I think that very simply, when you start out with a business, you have an idea in your mind that's relatively clear, but perhaps not clear enough. You end up taking a lot of circuitous routes to go from point A to point B. And as a result of that, there's lots of complications. There's lots of side trips. There's lots of capital that gets expended. And so the more clear you can have your direction in mind at the beginning, the more likely you are to successfully get to the end game.
Man, I love that advice. The more likely you're to get from point A to B, quite simply said. I love it. Let's switch up a bit, George. I want to get into what you're doing over at Challenging Decisions. So first, tell me a little bit more about the company, please.
Well, Challenging Decisions is a consultancy designed to improve decision-making as a resource for CEOs. So what we like to do is we like to understand, again, exactly what an organization and a CEO are trying to accomplish, and more importantly, for our focus, what they really wrestle with. I think it's clear that some decisions for CEOs just are very simple, and standard operational work can be a normal course of business. But when it comes to investing a tremendous amount of capital, perhaps trying to make a software platform decision, a software value proposition decision, all very modern kinds of decisions, they get more complex. So I think that a lot of times a CEO might have a background in general business or a particular expertise, and just using that software as one example, could be many different things. You know, you get out of your comfort zone, and you really are looking for some objectivity and getting out of your own frame of reference to make a better decision.
What do you think are some of the things that hold? Because there's some CEOs listening to this right now that from large companies, large corporations, and I don't think that people always have it's hard to understand that you can get help on something like this, or that there's another way other than just going at it alone. Because I feel like a lot do that. What are some of the challenges and themes? I know it's going to vary obviously from CEO to CEO, company to company, size of decision, right? All these things are going to vary, but I do know that you work with enough people and certain themes arise. What are some of the common themes that arise in the CEOs or the clients that you work with that you're able to help them kind of overcome?
Well, I'd like to introduce that answer by just sharing this with you. For over 10 years, I've been a member of CEO organizations as I operated my own company and had an opportunity to, it's essentially an ad hoc board of directors type of arrangement where the CEO will bring their problems to the group and have a healthy discussion, full disclosure kind of discussion with a team of CEOs. In having done that for quite a period of time, we find that people wrestle with lots of difficult decisions. Some relate to culture and whether their culture is really working for them. A lot of times it represents itself as problems with the executive team not being on the same page. So it can come into a lot of different directions. Whether you want to make a big investment, a new capital investment in facilities, should you expand multinationally or stick regionally or go national? Questions along those lines are very typical.
And so what is your, because again, I know there's people listening to this right now that are like, yeah, I could use some help with that. What's your niche? What kind of companies, what kind of CEOs do you like working with? What makes somebody that's listening to this think, okay, yeah, I should give challenging decisions a call. They're the right ones for me.
We're focusing on everything from entrepreneurs to SMB CEOs to lower middle market CEOs. And the reason for that is oftentimes those CEOs perhaps have either a more limited purview in their own personal experience, or as we discussed earlier, Adam, they may only have a couple of years under their belt as a CEO, and so they may really have a limited set of resources. The organizations may be smaller. Organization may be 25 people, 50 people, 100 people. Executive team might have limited experience. Those kind of organizations, I think, would definitely benefit from my extensive experience. But even larger organizations, we have experience with larger organizations up to, I would say, even above $1 billion organizations. People are still looking for strategy advice. They're looking for different approaches, what to focus on, and gain insights even on some of their sticking points.
That's awesome. So, George, if somebody's listening to this and they do want more information on challenging decisions, what's the best way for them to reach out?
Well, I'd be happy to take a phone call at 312-320-7760, or if they'd like to look at our web environment, it's challengingdecisions.com, where we've got quite a bit of information on our approach and our thought process.
Perfect. And let's have that phone number one more time, please.
312-320-7760.
Perfect. Well, hey, George, really appreciate you coming on the show today and sharing more about your background and all the great work you're doing over at Challenging Decisions to help CEOs make those challenging decisions. And to the audience, as always, thank you for tuning in. I hope you got a lot of value out of this. If you did, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, leave me a review on the Apple iTunes Store, share this with your friends, family, your colleagues. I mean, do all those great things we do to support our podcasters. I really do appreciate it. And George, thanks again for coming on the show.